Yes.
So welcome everyone. We're going to talk about retention today, as you already know. And this is kind of how we're going to lay out the hour to hour and 15 minutes that we have together. So I've got some announcements from national and state. Deb, if you have anything to add, you certainly can. Then I'll introduce the topic. I've got a few little things to cover on that. And then I've invited two of our expert membership branch VPs to share some information about what they're doing in their branches to retain members. And Fonnie, I think someone just wants to join. Could you let that person in? So then we'll break out, and it'll be your chance to ask questions and to share some of the wonderful things you're doing. And then we'll report out any additional comments at the end, and that'll pretty much take care of the time. So announcements, of course, I know that as many of you are membership people here this morning, you are pretty familiar, I hope, with the AAUW and the wealth of information they have on their website. So be sure and check that out. In their part of the wealth of information, they have what they call a community hub, and they have a frequently asked questions section. And in there, you can find information on how to connect to AAUW National in their virtual office hours. They've been holding those for probably a year now, almost a year. They're held Tuesday and or Thursday afternoons, but you do need to pre-register. You can find that, like I said, under the Community Hub, frequently asked questions. They intend to continue it for another year. I think it was set up mainly in response to the confusion to the new renewal process. So they will continue that, but things I think have settled down. But we're now going into rolling renewals. And some of the branches members have already been getting notices related to that. We've had a couple of questions about how it's being done. Hopefully that will get straightened out soon. You should have received an email from National about March 1st, where National gave you the option for them to send out email announcements to people that renewal time is now. If you did not respond to that announcement on March 1st, by their deadline of March 13th, then they will just automatically be sending your members 3 different email reminders to renew, and that will start April 1st with a grace period like they've done in the past. So after the June 30th deadline, the grace period will go probably through November, which is pretty much how they've done it in the past. What did I want to say about that? Please ask your members not to renew before April 1st. And on April 1st, the new renewal amount is going to be going up to $72. So it's moving up another $5. And that should be the end of the increases until the national board decides to increase again. So from 67 to 72 beginning April 1st. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention is National is asking branches not to send checks going forward. They have been having problems with the check process. So use your branch credit card, debit card, and then they also are accepting the ACH system. And they talk about that a little bit more in that email that they sent out. But they said that there will be more details coming out in their March membership matters. Now, I haven't seen whether that's come out yet. I don't know if any of you have seen it. I missed it. But anyway, there will be more detail coming out in there about renewal and what's happening.
Carol.
Yes.
What if somebody went and renewed their old membership prior?
You know, I know in the past last year when people renewed and then renewed again when they got the next, they were renewed for 2 years, but I'm not sure what's going to happen with the people that have already renewed. So
okay.
It's only another week or so, so hang on. 5-star, the application process is changing. I know that Wisconsin has had a phenomenal turnout with the 5-star applications, and we've done a really awesome job. But in the survey that Deb Thiel sent out last fall, a number of you mentioned that the process was cumbersome and you just didn't have enough people power to actually follow through with it. So they have now decided that rather than having the application process where you had to fill out and send in a number of different things, that they will send out their annual survey to branch leadership. And in that survey will be a question, do you want to be considered for 5-star recognition? And if you say yes, then what they'll do is go back to your survey answers and look at them a little more closely. And they may get back to you with more questions, but it's a much simpler process, and they're hoping that more people will be interested and willing to participate. So look forward to that. Like I said, Wisconsin's done a great job, but there's always, room for improvement. The other thing that they're changing, is there a question?
I have a question. Do you
Sure.
know if there's branch leaders? Will that be presidents only, or will it include?
I think it just goes to the presidents.
Okay.
I'm quite sure, actually. There's another change on 5-star, and I'll mention that in another slide, but let's move ahead here. Any other questions, by the way? Renewal, 5-star. All right, local or more local.
I have one question.
Yes, Bonnie.
When the leadership will change in July in many branches, the 5-star mail will go to the old one, though?
Yes.
Okay.
It should go to the previous one because they would have the most accurate, hopefully, information on the branch. Okay, the convention registration. Well, the convention, of course, is April 28th, 29th, and I am hopeful this is not a surprise to anyone. Publicity has been working hard to get the word out. Hopefully you've seen some of the cute little videos that are coming out, and then there will be more. So please feel free to share those with your branch members. Registration is just about ready. They've been sending out some practice registration forms to the committee, and I think any day now you should be getting information on how to register online. There is an early registration deadline, April 8th. So there's a $10 difference in the registration amount, and state is subsidizing significantly the registration process. Or the application. So be sure to share that with your members. New members, everyone is of course welcome, not just branch leadership. And then online registration will close on April 18th. And after that, paper registration only. So you can still register by paper, but online will be coming out very soon. Okay, let's see. Oops, come on. At the state convention, we're very excited about our keynotes as well as the multitude of breakouts that will be happening. On Friday evening, Judge Derek Mosley will be talking about unconscious bias. He's a very engaging speaker, and he will, I have no doubt, surprise you with some of the information that he shares on that topic. On Saturday, we have Sarah Godlewski joining us for the keynote just prior to lunch. And if you've been following the news in the state, you just heard that Sarah Godlewski was appointed as the new state treasurer, that Douglas LaFollette has retired. So that was a little turn of events. We had no idea what's going to happen, but I think it makes it even more exciting. She's going to share her path forward through how she achieved the things she's achieved and got where she's gotten. She was starting a PAC for women, encouraging them to get involved in the political process, and I'm sure she will talk about that as well. And then right after lunch, we have Melissa Jablonski. Melissa worked at the UWM Freshwater Sciences Department. She is a water engineer, an environmental advisor, a plastics reduction specialist, and a really engaging speaker. And she's going to talk about STEM, collaboration and communication to encourage young people into the STEM careers. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, so let's get started talking about the topic at hand. Let's talk retention, and then we'll move right into our two special guests, and I'll introduce them then. So why is retention important and worth us spending an hour here today? So in the long run, it can save time, energy, and possibly money. It really depends on your branch. But certainly recruiting new members is not always easy. And so I know that you put time and effort into that. So when a new member comes in and is lost immediately, it's really discouraging. So rather than getting discouraged, let's figure out how we can keep people renewing year after year. Plus, and this is the 5-star other change that I was alluding to earlier, branches are not going to be asked to attain 90% retention. They've downed it to 80%, which I think is much more realistic for branches here. And that's been the experience in the branch that I belong to, that at 90% was just really a tough goal. So, and AmeriCorps, their national average of volunteer retention is 65%. Now, I have to say, Wisconsin branches do a lot better than that. We have branches that get 100% retention year after year, but those are usually the smaller branches. The larger branches work hard to stay at 80 or a little bit more. So, retention is a big topic. It's been documented, people that study these kinds of things, that if you can keep a member for more than a year, the subsequent renewals, the chance of that happening increases substantially. So they call the first year the conversion year. And other studies have shown that new member engagement increased renewals by almost 10%. So it's those new people that really you really want to look at, because that's where retention is critical, and that's where renewals often drop off. So I very quickly, I hope, answered the why, time, energy, money, the when, that first year or two, and the who, which ties right in. So I have invited a couple of our stellar VPs of membership from the branches to talk to us about the how. So Carol Salinas is the VP of membership for the Janesville branch. They have 55 members. They're on the smaller side of the scale. She also coordinates the Tech Savvy program that she, along with other people and a couple other branches, host annually at UW Whitewater, and that's coming up the middle of April. So she's very busy right now. And she also has been serving as District 1 coordinator for AAUW Wisconsin. And if you looked at the Badger brief that just came out recently, she is going to be inaugurated into the leadership position beginning on July 1st. So we're going to welcome Carol in a minute. And then our second VP membership comes from a different size branch. AAUW West Suburban has about 160 members now. Linda has been holding the membership position probably for the last 8 years, maybe even a little longer. She has taken this on with her whole heart, and she refers to her position as membership VP as her job, and she has worked it in that way. She's brought a lot of new innovations into the position, as Carol has. So I invited them to come and talk to us today to share some ideas about how they engage new members into the branch. And I gave these questions to them ahead of time. How do you welcome new members into your branch? How does your branch get to know the new members? And do you have a process to connect your new members with activities and events that they are interested in? So with that, I'm going to turn off my screen and turn it over to our two guests and see if they would like to go ahead and answer some of those questions for us. So Carol and Linda, it's over to you.
Linda, do you want to go first this time? I went
I'll go
first
first.
the last 2 times.
I'll go first. Hey, thank you, Carol, for establishing this meeting. And I want you all to know is I do enjoy the job. I've done other jobs of leadership within the branch, but membership just seems to fit my little niche for organization, for meeting people, for getting involved, and for just putting processes in place. So that's where my head is, organization, processes, and consistency. So, I've held this for a while and I've been able to actually do that. Now, retention, you can do all that logically makes sense, but people are human. And at the end of the day, they do make their own decisions about their level of involvement. So I see my job and, people involved in membership as trying to make it, like Carol says, accommodating for them, engaging and connecting. So how do we welcome new members? Well, the first thing that I do with a team, I've developed a team, and that is always helpful because it's not just totally my responsibility. We have a summer social every year that is for inviting new people into the branch that may be interested in joining. So I can get a lot of people at that event, maybe 30, 35, including a sponsor. So I get a lot of members that way. They fill out their application blanks. They're very excited about joining the branch. And then that process is, how do I welcome them? So I always make personal connections via email with any new members. In the early days, I would have had as many as 20 new members. It's not that way anymore. Times have changed since COVID. So if I get 5 or 6, there's always personal connections. And then the membership application that they fill out, I make a copy of that and I send it to the person, one of our database lady. And she's the one that sends another email out to them, welcoming them to the branch and confirming that their email, their phone number, and their address is all correct. So that's one connection. They get one from the database lady. I send their application to the treasurer. And the treasurer is the one, once all the information is confirmed, connects with national. She doesn't connect with the people individually. I also have a mentor involved. So when I send this application off, it goes to the presidents, it goes to the database, and it goes to the mentor. One of the presidents makes a phone call. Even if they don't answer, hi, this is so-and-so welcoming you to the branch. Hopefully you will be able to blah, blah, blah. The mentor lady, my mentorship, she then looks at their application and determines their interests. What are they interested in? What is their experience? And she is focusing on members that are 1 and 2 years. And then she connects with them. For example, if somebody said, I'm interested in a book club, then my mentorship chair connects the new member with the book club. You see how I'm trying to coordinate all these people to get some, oh my, they really do care. They are really connecting with me. So, you can do all that. And then when it comes time for the meeting, the mentorship chair will email or call the first meeting of the year. Are you coming? My mentorship chair, and I am always at every meeting at a membership table. We're there trying to make those connections comfortable and easy, and making our new members feel at home. So how do we welcome? And that's a little bit of how we get to know too. We do a lot of activities outside of the branch that people can choose to be involved with or not. Does that?
That's great. Thank you, Linda.
That I think I did how we welcome and how we get to know.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the process, but let Carol go.
Okay, and we have a very similar process, except all those team members that Linda mentioned, because we only have 55 members and some of those are past the age of being able to do these types of jobs.
Right.
I become all of those. I become the membership vice president, the data person, the mentorship, person. But I do use a form that lists, I can't see it, but it lists those tasks that Linda listed off. Like I emailed the new member that their membership form was received, that I got what they sent in. I add their name to our document that lists what interests they all have based on the application form, what they check that they're interested in. So I know if they're interested in book discussion, social activities, or being on the program, or being on the gardening group, or whatever they would like to do. So I email then whoever's in charge of gardening that we have a new member. She checked, she's interested in gardening. I notify the president and all the other board members. I add their email to all of those groups that we send emails to. And then I send an interview form that asks questions, and then they return it to me. It's done usually electronically with most of the members. And we also request a photograph that they have some sort of a headshot for us. I deliver the membership and program directory book to them. And then from their interview article, I write an article for our monthly newsletter. In the monthly newsletter, when the article comes out, their photograph is right there beside it, so people can read about them and see them. Then the other thing I do with those photos is I put them in a PowerPoint loop, so that when we're at our branch meetings at the Women's Club where we meet, there's a smart TV. So we just hook the computer up to the smart TV, and the loop with the pictures of our new members and with their names underneath are on the screen. So during the social time, if anybody's looking up at the screen, at least their photos and names are there. And we do that until we really feel like they are engaged in the group. Sometimes right now I have 2 years worth of people up there, continuing for people to see their photographs and start to recognize and help them get blended into the group. I think that kind of covers that first question about how do you welcome the new members?
Great, thank you. All right, so there are more questions. I'm going to share my screen again real quickly. All right, can everybody see it? Let me see if I can. There we go. So after the initial welcome, what happens then? And earlier, I know I had said that the first year is called by the experts the conversion year, but actually research takes it even further, and they have discovered that programs planned to interact with your new members through months 7 through 12 perform best. So it's not just that first month or so, but it goes far beyond that as you get closer to the renewal time. So in other words, you follow the new members longer. So I've asked Carol and Linda if they would tell us what they do after their initial welcome. So do you follow up with the new members at any point? Do you have a way to know if a new member is connecting with the branch? And do you have any recognition activities for members of all levels? And I know in their answering of the first questions, they've kind of touched on some of these things, but we're going to ask them once again to answer those questions. So let me stop here. Okay, back to you.
Well, I think one of the important things that both Carol and I have outlined is having a process in place. And I also have a checklist, Carol, because if I didn't have a checklist, I would never keep track of what I've done. You know, my checklist. Did you send the email? Did you do this? You know,
It not only has a form, but it has a folder.
mine too. Mine too. Another thing I do is I send every new member a folder, and I'll do it by postal mail. And because it's a folder, it's an AAUW folder, and it has one side of the folder has state information. National information. And the other side of the folder has branch information. And what I put in there is much of the information that is off of the national website that has information about, the research, the 1-page or 2-page PDFs of research, about the pay gap. Those documents that are available on the national website are important for our members to know, how we support people on a more global basis. And then the other side of the folder has information about the branch. So, and people look at it, and I put little pencils in there. I'm a former elementary school teacher, so I try to make it cute. We have a follow-up, make the most of your membership meeting. I've had 3 of those. They have become less attended, is what I would say. The intent there was to get people to come so they understood national, state, and local, and some of the things that our branch has to offer. The pandemic changed that. I mean, I had one meeting at Mount Mary that probably had 35 people at. And then I had a Zoom meeting that I had a lot attended. And last year I couldn't pull it off. They just didn't seem to want to come. It might have been the day, it may have been lack of interest, but just because it didn't work for me last year doesn't mean it won't work in the future. It's getting these new members together, the 1- and 2-year members together in a social setting. That is the intent, and that still is an option for other branches. Make the most of your membership. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is what we can offer you. And if you want to get engaged and involved, we can also do that too. We have our, to get more of the message out, we have a Facebook, we have a LinkedIn, and we also have a very actively and engaged website. We send out a survey. We just did this year for members who are 1 and 2 years. A Google Form survey. The results, we've asked them to come back on March 31st. And they're kind of simple questions, have you felt welcomed on a scale of 1 to 5? Are you engaged? 5 or 6, and the last question, are you planning on rejoining? Oh, that works. We'll see. It's just something you have to keep on working with. And so we also keep track of who's attending the meeting. I think Carol does that too. I do it with a barcode scanner because we have our bigger branch. So I kind of know who's not coming. And then I can have our membership VP, the mentorship, can we just do an email or a phone call? We don't want to get too pushy either. We have been able over the years to not keep a 90% retention, but we're more in the 85s, 80, and I don't know where I got the number 90% a few years ago. And I think that was a real high bar, a retention of 90% when you're over 160 people, because we lose people for a lot of reasons. And if I look back at my records, it's been in the 88%, 85%. So the very fact that National lowered that to 80%, I think for a larger branch, that might be a little more attainable. And of course, I wasn't using their algorithm to figure it out. I was using my own, which, is developed by Linda, which, was not scientifically proven, but I was using my own way of keeping track. And, I was able to be in the 80s, which is what Carol just said. They've lowered it. Is there anything else, Carol?
No,
that else should talk about here?
No, I think that's great. We'll turn it over to Carol now.
Yeah.
Carol, with an E.
We're, like halfway into the year now. So in our last impact, I put in a quiz, an elementary teacher in me we put a quiz in about our new members. So I listed one statement about each one of our new members and something pretty predominant about them. Something that if you read the interview article and have talked to them at all, you would probably know.
What would be an example, Carol?
Retired Beloit teacher.
Okay. Oh, I get it.
If you had read it or talked to her, you would know that. Rides horses. And if you talk to this lady for more than 5 minutes, you know about her horse Finnegan. So, and then I listed all their names and had them, match them up and had an answer key on the last page in the newsletter. So we're going to go over that at the branch meeting next week. Because we're such a small group, and I don't know how National handles this, but our membership retention often is determined by how many of our elderly members pass away during the year, which is a sad scenario. But one year we lost 3 that passed away within 6 weeks of each other. And they were all best friends. I think they just got together and decided they'd had enough. But that has hurt our membership because it's like, whoa, now we have to replace 3 at one time.
You know what, Carol, I would think, this is what I would think, you have to go into National and you have to remove a member from the branch.
Yes, I do. I hate to do that.
This choice, one of the choices is deceased. So I would be absolutely surprised if they took that against us. I don't believe it's just not.
I hope they don't.
No.
I hope they
it's
don't,
not logical, but what do I know about logic?
But our total number obviously is down. Some of the other things, we'll get back to the questions here. A lot of our special interest groups draw the new members. So they join for book discussion, or they join because they have a strong interest in diversity, equity, and inclusion, or they join because of our STEM workshop. And I want to recognize one of the other co-chairs of our Tech Savvy STEM program, because it's Vicki Wright from Fort Atkinson, and Vicki can wave down there, but I can see she's muted. But there's 4 of us that work on that, and Vicki's one of the 4 co-chairs. The other thing I'm going to start this year is getting a picture of every one of our members, asking them all to send a picture in, and if they don't have one, we took a bunch of pictures of their 95th anniversary. I want to include a photograph next to their information in our program and membership directory book. And then I'm also planning more recognitions for milestones of membership. We've always recognized when they hit 50 years and become an honorary member. But how often can that happen, especially with most of our members now joined later in their life, like when they retired. So recognizing 5 years and 10 years and 15 and 20, and then maybe 30, 40, and 50, so that there is recognition along the way. I do keep attendance on a little piece of paper with their names with little pencil check marks. And we do call when we see a break in activity. If they haven't been to anything in 3 months, it's time to re-engage and find out what's going on.
Ooh.
A lot of it's health problems. I mean, we have people that have health issues and cannot get out. They've had surgery. Spouses passed away in our branch during COVID, like 7 of them.
Wow.
So a lot of, new living arrangements for people that are living alone now. And it takes those women a while to feel comfortable coming back out to activities. So those are some of the things we plan. And then the other question was, isn't it time for it yet? About when a member doesn't renew?
Yeah, I was just going to go to that if you're done, Carol.
Okay.
So I was just going to introduce that question with the fact that, you can tell we have 2 membership VPs that have been doing really significant work trying to get people to stay in the branch. But every now and then, or maybe more than that, there are members who just, no matter what you've done, engaged in all kinds of ways, they just don't renew. So I'm just wondering if you two have any follow-up plans if renewal fails, or any stories you'd like to share about that. So go ahead, Carol or Linda.
I'll start. Can you put me on, Carol?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'll stop the share. Sorry.
I'll start. It's a hard question to answer.
It is.
Because you can do what you can do. And I don't always feel people are forthcoming and giving the answer. I don't like to drive at night anymore. And I've asked, if you people don't want to tell you. I got family commitments. I'm moving. I just feel, and I think, Carol, would you say the same thing? People do what they do because it's human behavior, folks. I can't control human behavior. Linda, you did the branch is wonderful. I had so much fun, but I just can't follow through anymore. What can you say? I don't, we're dealing with people. We're dealing with people who have personal choice. Sometimes they get mad at something that was at a program. That's it. I don't, Carol, take it away. Am I answering what you're going to say?
We've had the problem that some people have joined because a friend invited them and then found that our mission did not match their values. And so, you have to respect that. If this is not what they personally believe, then it's fine if they drop, and you just have to accept that. One strategy we've used is when we have some sort of big celebration, like 5 years ago, we had our 95th anniversary, and we went back to our membership book, and we invited all kinds of people that had dropped to come to help celebrate because they were part of, the 95 years. And we did get 2 or 3 that rejoined. It was a different time in their life, and they decided they had missed it and wanted back. We're having our 100th anniversary this year, and we will go back to our membership books, maybe not 50, 40 years ago, but we'll go back 20 years. And if we know they're still in town, maybe the time is right now for them.
Good idea.
Reconnect with us. A lot of them came to our celebration party. So, and then sometimes when there's an activity that is open to the public, like I know all of our meetings are, but like we do a garden walk in the summer, and it's to raise money for the women's club, not AAUW, but we will invite our former members because it's more of a open activity. And sometimes they come back, and sometimes they just say, thank you, I'll attend this event, and that's fine, but that's as far as it goes. That's fine. They're still friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for the reassurance, because I know it's hard and you really don't want it to happen, but sometimes it does. So we're going to move right on here. I'm going to break you up into groups, and let's get this up right. Where are we? Oh, it's probably not going to cooperate with me. Anyway, I don't know why it does this. Okay, we're going to go into groups. So this is your chance to get more details if you'd like them. And also if you have something you'd like to share about what you're doing in your branch related to retaining those members. Just keep in mind, some of the initiatives that our 2 guests have shared are relatively new. So they're still working through details, but I know that they'll be happy to share anything that you might like from them. When you come back, I am going to ask each of you to share something that that you heard today that you're going to be taking back to your branch and implementing and beginning the process, and or something that you do that maybe no one else has talked about, and you'd just like to share that as well. So I'm going to put Carol and Linda each in a different breakout room. And it's going to be random, so we'll see. And then I'll follow probably Linda into a room. And so the camera will be coming with me, just so you know. Okay. All right. Did we get everybody? Linda, you're there. Carol, good. We've got a good one. And all right, I'm going to open the room. And we'll do about 10 to 15. It's 10:15 now, so 15 at the most. Okay.
Is this it? Oh,
Be about 5.
okay.
Yeah. All right. So
I
let's,
always love to hear. I mean, I've had a good opportunity to blah, blah, blah. I always am anxious to hear what other people are doing because every branch has its own energy and its own processes. And it's always fun to learn. I know one thing that I haven't done is I'm going to be taking a picture of all new members and asking them. Sometimes, see, what I've done is I've waited for them to come to a meeting, and then sometimes they get lost in the shuffle. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I want that picture. Can you just send me a headshot? I'll see if that works. That's my new plan because getting the pictures has been hard if you wait for a meeting. So anybody else?
I have a question. The application that you use, I wrote a note that you have an application.
Yes.
Do you do the entry into the system then, or do you encourage them to, join through the system?
I like it best when I get that paper application because then if they join through the system, I get nothing.
I know, I feel there's a disconnection.
There is a disconnect, right. And then I can do whatever I can do to say, hey, I saw you join through the system. Mm-hmm. Would you please? Because on the back of first of all, the application has the college they graduated from, right. My application. You don't get that when you get the email from the system. Oh. It's like, I don't like it. I try to follow up with my application. Please fill this out. Send it back to me electronically. Some people have that skill set. Some people don't. I have a few people I have never gotten the application from. And then I don't know their interest. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know we shouldn't be a paper and pencil society, but we're working with National has their system. I'm a little branch VP here who needs information about members so I can move forward. And they're not ever going to be connect with my needs. So it's up to me or us to figure out how to get that from people. Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Yeah. The only issue, I guess, is how they pay then. No, I guess it's not an issue. If I get a check, I can deposit and use our
and most of mine are Shape the Future members.
Yeah.
So they have to send me the check.
Uh-huh.
And then I send it so I get the check and I've had people join on National and paid full price when they should have come to the event and they could have done Shape the Future prices.
I think we had one person use the system and pay the Shape the Future amount, but maybe that was during an open period last summer.
Yeah, I don't want to encourage it.
Yeah, they need to use a code. So unless they have the code, they
give them the
deal.
code.
So yeah.
So that is a little messy.
It was actually. I had to explain to her the breakdown. So, there's a lot of communication anyway, where I could have done it probably a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. So did I answer your question? I would prefer the old-fashioned, send me the check. And the young girls don't want to do it. They send me the application and the check. And then I follow it out to, how many are in your branch, Cindy?
Just under 40. So it's
okay. See, it's a little easier to manage.
Yes. Yeah.
But then don't have all the people.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I got 160.
Yeah,
I just had a question related to your discussion because you said like younger people, they don't use checks. They use Venmo. They use electronic means or PayPal or something like that. Does anybody set anything up like that for their branches?
This is what I do. I mean, it may not be kosher. Pay me through PayPal or Venmo. Send me your application and I will write the check. Is that ridiculous? But that's how I get it done.
Yeah. And you have a paper trail with that.
Huh?
There's a paper trail with that.
Oh yeah, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
we do not use PayPal or Venmo for those types of things online yet.
No.
But it could happen, give us time.
Yeah, National's getting it started themselves, so that's going to happen. So we have to keep our eyes on that.
Okay.
Bobby, I saw your hand up, not to interrupt here. But...
Well, and couldn't a new member use Zelle or one of those transactional apps to put the money directly into our AAUW account. And then Cindy, she's our treasurer, could then send it international electronically from our account.
Our website does have a link that money would go right into the treasurer's. We do that. We do it for events. We have not done it for membership. Can you imagine with 160 members, people just using that link? Oh gosh. Now with 40, you might be able to. No, we have not, but yeah, you could. But you also want that paper copy from them.
Yeah.
Well, you want to know who they are, that information.
You want to know who they are and where they went to school. And you could do it on Google Forms, but then you have people who don't like to do. We got two different generations here. Saw a hand, Carol.
Oh, not mine. I'm just wondering if Vicki has anything she'd like to share.
Yes, Bobby.
Although we did hear from her VP of membership, so.
Bobby, you can. But, you know, again, it's a law logistics.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Could I ask what branches, like Bobby and Cindy?
We're both at the Beaver Dam.
Beaver Dam.
Beaver Dam. And I'm AAUW. And how many? Oh, you said 40?
Yeah, about 40.
Yeah. You just never know who's going to do what. And that's, again, when I talk about, you know, human behavior. You know, I've got a lady I am communicating with on the phone. She's a member. She's never attended a meeting. Does this make any sense? Do I care? I'd like to get her involved, but I think she's kind of likes me. The other thing is we do, and maybe you all do this. I forgot about the day meetings. We have 2 day meetings, 2 branch meetings that are days. And then we have some evening meetings, and then we do every February meeting by Zoom. I mean, that's in an attempt to meet needs.
Linda, do you want to share the renewal story that we've just become aware of?
Which one?
The one with one of our millennials who decided not to renew.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I wanted to just cry.
Yeah. You know what? Your audio is dropping out regularly.
Let me go closer.
Yeah.
Okay, she joined last year. And she wanted to get involved, and she was involved, but she's not renewing.
Huh?
Because speaking of the generational thing, you know, she was a younger member and she was looking for networking. And that is really one of the main reasons people join organizations is to network. So she became very engaged. She had a couple of positions that were important and attended like pretty much every meeting.
Everything.
And now she's put out the word to her friends in her generation in the branch that she's not going to renew. And we're all very devastated because getting younger members has been a real challenge for us. And we'll talk about that soon in a recruitment Zoom call. But just so you know, you do everything right.
Right.
And it sometimes just doesn't work. So not to beat yourself up too much.
No, it's human behavior. We got to remember that.
Yeah.
And systems.
So
I'm disappointed. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So
remember, membership's important, but like you said, engagement of the members, what do the members want from the organization, and keeping our focus on the mission, not just trying to chase members and provide them what they want when it's maybe not really what we were about. So that's sometimes hard to balance, I think.
Yeah, you're right, Deb.
Okay, I've just given the 60-second warning out there. So we'll wrap this up and then get back together. So we're doing really well. We might be done in just a little over an hour. All right, I think we're all back together. Thank you so much for sticking with us, because now it's your turn. I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'd like to hear what everyone is going to be walking home with today, because that's really what this is all about, is using, hopefully finding something new and using it. So we'll just go through the list here, and if you want to unmute and share something that you'd like to use in your branch, or something your branch is doing that you think other people should know about. Oh, whoops, I just lost my checklist. How about we start with Deb Thiel. Let's put you on the spot first.
Carol, the PowerPoint is still up.
Okay, let me stop. Thank you.
All right. You put me on the spot the last time I was on. It was like, I was so like, what?
Oh, I'm sorry.
But this time I was ready for you, Carol.
All
But
right.
the one thing I think for our branch in Toma is I like the concept of team approach. We don't really have a membership. We have somebody in name, and she tried to resign. She's a young person and just have ignored it all year. So we haven't even acknowledged she quit being the membership chair. But we need to, maybe if we outlined our process a little bit, who's going to do what, here's the steps. And maybe we can talk her back into it, or find somebody to pick it up. In a small branch, everybody has to be an officer. So
That's good. I was going to ask you who your membership person is, but now I know why I haven't seen her. That's too bad.
I know.
Defining roles, I think, certainly is a helpful step. So that's a good idea. All right. How about Bobby?
I'm from Fond du Lac branch.
I
thought you said funny.
No, sorry. Bobby, you're muted, by the way. There you go.
Yeah, we have a fairly small branch. We have just under 40 members. And when we have a new member join, basically they just send us an email, and we send them an email back. But I like the idea of having an application form that has all of their information listed and that you can keep. And then Cindy, she's our treasurer, and she works with the database, the national database, then she would have something to use to go in and complete the database. Because more than once, I know someone has sent an email, I want to join. And then I'll say, we'll just contact Cindy. And then a little while later, I have to send another email. By the way, we have book club meeting. Would you like to join book club? Where I have to kind of follow up. Wait, I didn't ask you. And this way we'd have all that information in one place.
Bobby, I'll send you ours, because I've developed it over a long time.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
The front page is everything you need to know about them. The back page is where you would adjust it for your branch needs. It's, your interest, what your volunteer, we have a lot of, so my back page would not work for your branch, but the form is there. And you could keep the front page and adjust the back page for your needs. I actually got the front page from what questions National kind of used to ask. I've adjusted this form year after year after year.
Can I have it too?
Tight. Yeah, Carol will give it to everyone.
Yeah, I'll send it out to everyone, and
it's yours. Now you make it yours.
Yeah, we have one, and Linda has one, so send them both.
I'll send them both to everyone.
Figure out how similar they are, and make their own from both, or pick one.
Pick one.
And adjust it.
Okay. Thank you, Bobby. Good. Let's see. How about Cindy? Do you want to add anything to the Beaver Dam? What you learned? Anything you want to share?
Where's Cindy?
I'm right there. I'm only in my second year with membership and treasurer, so it's been an adventure. New system, and I have a busy life, and when I hear you say that this is your job, it's like, whoa.
Well, no, Carol made that sound worse than what it was.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I got home at 11 o'clock last night from San Francisco. That's my life, and this is the only meeting I could attend, and I really wanted to. any resources that you can share with us are marvelous. And I took lots of notes. I love the idea of finding interests, to pull people in. We have a very strong DEI committee right now. And that with that committee, we're becoming more community involved. And so I'm hoping that will help us maybe grow our membership, or just the fact that of the awareness. It's wonderful. So we have two book clubs and a social during the summer. And then we have somebody that likes to do social stuff and invites people maybe to play cards or go to the theater together. So we have to work on that too.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. Let's see. How about Lucy Harvey? Wassa.
She's muted.
And you're muted too. Oh no.
Okay, I like
There
it.
we are.
Of giving
ready.
a new person a folder that talks a little bit about the history of the branch and the involvement in the community, because we've had some remarkable accomplishments done in our community by our members. And we are celebrating 102 years
Wow.
of our branch being in existence. So I think maybe promoting it better than just saying, hi, welcome. So the folder or the little gift, those are both great ideas.
Wonderful. That's amazing. 102 years. Good for you.
Wow.
Yeah. Vicki, you're back on. Would you like to give it another shot?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Okay.
I like the idea of the folder because I can remember coming in as a new member and I'm trying to think about, okay, even though I could read some stuff on the website, how does our local branch connect with national? And, oh, hey, what does national do with all that money we send to them? That was a big question I had. So it just took me time to know, that kind of information. And along with that, having a new member social, just something smaller where we could hand that out. We wouldn't have to necessarily mail all of them, but we could mail some and then some distributed at that meeting. And we could talk about why we have national and we have the state organization and how do we differ from like Women's Club, which is just a local organization. And what's the value of AAUW in that?
Vicki, this is what it looks like. I have nice little folders. And then, I make a whole bunch of them at the beginning. One side is national. And then the other side is, we have a brochure. I put Ruth Bader Ginsburg bookmarks in there. So, it's what national is, what the branch is, the simple truth about the pay gap, some of that research, how to support AAUW missions. All of that is really on the national website. And then this is stuff about us, how we communicate, how we get to know our members, and everybody gets one of those.
Wonderful.
And you don't have to have this kind of folder, but I got a lot of members.
But I
plain
want
old.
that
I want
folder.
that
Okay.
folder.
Yeah.
Well, you just get them printed. I mean, it's, I like this folder. Yeah.
Can you bring one to the counterpart meeting at the convention or a couple so that we can actually, look at them and.
Oh yeah. Don't let me forget. The thing is, the company that I got these from isn't doing it anymore. They want you.
We can find a new company.
Sure.
Well, I only want 50. I don't want 500. Do you see where they're going now?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's something
we could make stickers and stick that on.
Yeah, or the state could coordinate it somehow. That's a
That would
thought.
Not as
nice.
it's not as nice.
Did it. And
Okay.
branches ordered like how many we think we need.
Right.
No, I like that. I mean, this is I think I ordered 50 and it takes me a while to use 50, obviously.
Yeah. Cool. All
let
right.
me go back and look with the company, but you want to make yourself look professional.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you want to make it look generous in your own way. Little things make a difference.
All right. Okay,
We
let's
have a
move right
flyer.
along, Linda.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, thank you. How about Suzanne from River Falls? And Suzanne is also one of our wonderful district coordinators, so she's, carrying some good roles there.
Where are you?
Thanks, Carol. Three quick observations. I liked being reminded of just tightening up our process of tracking members, tracking their interests, and actually tracking attendance at meetings, either in person or virtual. And then if you haven't seen or heard from somebody in 2 or 3 months, reaching out and making those connections. I think that's a good reminder to us. We have done folders in the past, and we also include a paper directory updated every year that has, in addition to contact info, a little more background information about current members, as well as a fair amount of history about branch accomplishments and various recognitions that we give, and who's been president going back to 1935. I also like the idea of recognition periodically of 5-year members and 10-year members. That doesn't speak to that crucial first and second year of membership, but it does emphasize that a lot of members have continuity with branches. The other thing, and this is just kind of an observation that came out of our breakout conversations, there's a challenge, I think. We spent time talking about, how do you keep our more senior members engaged? How do you deal with, I don't want to drive at night, it's the winter. So that's one challenge. But as we've all heard in previous conversations, there's also this issue of your new, ideally 30-something and 40-something younger members who are, working full-time and have perhaps, in terms of their sector, their slightly differing interests in programming or whatever. So I just say, keep in mind that continues to be a challenge, not just for attracting new members, but keeping new members.
Mm-hmm. So. Absolutely. Good point. All right, Fani. Fani is our state level. She takes care of the Badger briefs and the little badgers that come out to you regularly. And she's also been working very hard on publicity for state conventions. So I'm turning it over to you now, Fani.
Well, I'm here to learn to do the membership stuff or relay it to my branch. I joined Fond du Lac in October from another branch because this is more convenient for me. And I don't want to dunk on them, but I was not felt welcome at all. And I'm trying to figure out what to do next year and what ideas to take along. I had a member join just recently, so I think this is such a timely thing. I can take these things and maybe hint towards our membership chair that we could be doing that and maybe pick up some things I could do myself. And definitely this membership recognition, as you were looking at the slides, I pulled up our records and Jesus, there are so many members this year who need to be recognized. They've been members for decades.
Oh.
This is all so great.
Cool. All right. And thanks. And Fani is stepping into the president role for Fond du Lac. So she.
Yeah, it's not official yet. But
no, oh, it's not. Okay. Well, that's the plan.
But I don't think there's going to be an influx.
No, you're not going to have too much competition. Huh? Okay.
Well, I have a question because COVID changed everything with our meetings. And, our recognition meetings because of COVID, people weren't getting together. Is the timing right yet? What are your thoughts?
The timing for what? The timing for
a recognition lunch for 5, 10, 15, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Is there,
Get
do you
people
think?
together?
Yeah.
I think that's probably a branch by branch decision. I know some branches jumped into face-to-face meetings far sooner than others did. So, it's really, they have to know their membership and what they're comfortable with. So, yeah.
Any deep thoughts?
Yeah. Well, the comments that were just made about the group tending too old for me or not getting something out of it. There's I'm in Rotary, and we deal with the same thing with our membership, that everybody at different age levels has different needs or wants out of an organization. And, my age wants the collegiality, the friendships, and, with a common belief system. But younger people either want to be very actively engaged or they're busy with a family. And we struggle with the same differences and levels of wants and needs with the group. But a takeaway I liked was the idea of everybody's picture up on a slide screen beforehand, so that we know who we are and feel like we belong. And then that was a good takeaway. And then interest groups. One new member made the comment to us, so what do we do besides having meetings once a month? And fact, and again, she's someone my age, and she wants to belong to something that puts a mark on the community. And that's challenged us. Our board has considered that. And what do we do besides have good speakers? We could read to elementary school children. We could be volunteering at the what do we call Among Friends Alzheimer's respite care group. I mean, we aren't doing things that we could do that are relevant and to our members. So just this is good. This is big challenging ideas.
Well, I'll tell you.
Go ahead, Linda, and then I want to say something too.
Okay. What interest groups, and you are describing community service. We look at interest groups a little differently. We're a large organization, so we have a lot of interest groups. Is that me or you guys?
Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from.
Okay. But the one thing that I think is very good is we do what are called out and about, and you don't have to have a lot of these events. They get our members out and about in the community on a little mini trip, a mini event. You go tour something, you tour a museum, somebody coordinates, and that is getting out and about in the sense of getting our members away from their own little community to see what is happening in the metropolitan area of Milwaukee. We went to Walnut Way. This is an area where most people wouldn't drive because they think maybe they wouldn't feel comfortable in this neighborhood. We've done many of these kinds of trips that don't necessarily, they're a one-day deal. They're not a volunteer thing where you're going to have to go and read in the school every week. So if there's another way to get members out in the community. Our out and abouts are very popular. Unfortunately, our working women can't do it. We do things on weekends. We've gone to the symphony, out and about. We've gone to the Broadway Series 6. That was at night. I mean, we try to coordinate these events so people can go at different times. We get good turnouts for those. 20, 25, the out and abouts. We have Mahjong. We teach Mahjong lessons. So we have Mahjong groups, book groups, bridge groups, Those are social. But if you get people engaged socially, you hope that it will transfer over with them being involved. I found out last night that one of our members who joined last year has never been at a meeting, but she is in a book club and she's in bridge group. Okay. She's engaged at one level that works for her.
My question is you still have to have the numbers to pull out those groups, put those activities together. If you're sitting like I do in Eau Claire with around 38 members, and some of them a group of them are in their 80s, that makes a difference of how you get them involved. And that's what I think we're struggling with, that we have the grain of the group who have been members since the 70s, 80s, whatever, and then they just aren't participating. We don't get them to programs and that.
They probably won't. This is where they are in their life.
Right.
So when I talk about an out and about, you might only need 1 or 2 for the year.
Okay.
We do 1 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yeah.
You do it to the people who can come. Something in the community that would be a tour. A brewery tour, a pizza factory tour, a chocolate factory tour, somewhere where members wouldn't normally go. You don't need to do as many as we do.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's fun, but you need somebody to organize it.
That's the other part. Yes.
Maybe.
So, and you're in an area where you have a lot more of the choices.
But we have walking. We have a garden group. She's always got a walking tour, out in Eau Claire, a farm to visit. I forgot about the garden group. My God, that woman works so hard, and there's always something being offered that she will put out.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you.
I'd like to offer another take on engagement. In the Fort Atkinson branch, we've had for a number of years, one of our committees is called Community Outreach, and they are responsible for one meeting during the year, and we bring in community groups that are doing things to help people in the community, and sometimes we wind up helping them. And so the most recent one, we had the Rock River Free Clinic. One of the people who works there came in and talked to us, and they have a big need. They have a very small waiting room for one of their clinics. This is a free clinic in the community, and it's dark and dingy, and it has old furniture. And so they're looking for some help to rejuvenate their waiting room. Our branch just voted to assist them. Now, we can't raise money and give it to another organization. So this is as a AAUW. So this will be any money that we raise will be free will offerings, but we will also help them do the work. So this is an example of how we are working with the community. Another thing that Fort Atkinson did was we partnered with the police department. For a while, they were asking us to put together personal care kits for women that had to leave their home in a hurry with police protection. And you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about domestic abuse. So these women had to leave literally with the clothes on their back. And we put together, shampoo, toothbrushes, toothpaste. I mean, just the basics. And they were put together. We got a donation of little care kits, and we never met the women. We gave them to the police department so that when they had to help a woman relocate in a hurry, they had something to give her. So this is another example of, and Fort Atkinson is a very small community, and it's a small branch. We have around 60 members. I don't know exactly how many, but of course, as we've talked about, they're not all active, but we don't do out and about. We tried that and it didn't go over. Our members want to do something to help in the community. And the other thing that I wanted to offer is that several of our members joined specifically because they wanted to do something. Like, I don't know if you know, Fort Atkinson has been making purses and selling them to do things in the community. And the woman who started that happened to have a whole bunch of fabric, and she knew somebody that would help us with the sewing. So she joined us specifically so that we would help make the purses and sell them to do things within the community. And that I'm not saying that this will happen to you, but we have a number of members who joined specifically because they wanted to do something, and we made that happen if at all possible. I mean, you can't take everybody's idea and make it work. But if somebody joins, several women joined because they wanted to start another fund called Grants for Gals. And these are small grants. They're not college scholarships. But if a girl wants to go to Girl Scout camp and she doesn't have, her parents don't have the money, she can put in for a grant for Girl Scout camp. It's that kind of, it's a small one-time use. We had a woman who put in an application to upgrade her, wait a minute, it's that teacher thing that, what do you call it? A teacher certification. It started right at the end of my career, so I don't remember what it's called, but anyway, it costs some money, and she put in for that grant. So it's, people come to us with ideas, and unless they're unworkable, we try to make them happen. And then they become, they're listened to, their ideas are listened to, and they stay with us, and they wind up doing other things as well. One of the gals who joined for the Grants for Gals, she wound up being president one year. I mean, wow. So it's, I'm not saying that we retain all of our members, but the kinds of things that we do really make, they engage our members. So that free clinic thing just is starting right now. We also give backpacks to the schools. That's another thing, and that's free will. The members go out, they go shopping, they buy the supplies, they put them in backpacks in July and August, and somebody delivers them to the schools. So that's something else that maybe up in River Falls, some of your members might want to take that on to, for the kids whose parents can't afford to buy all the supplies, because it costs a lot of money. It's almost $100 to fill a backpack with required supplies. So, those are the kinds of things that we're doing in Fort Atkinson. We're pretty good at retention, I think.
I remember I think it was, I don't know if it was your membership person, but last year she talked about Fort Atkinson and their hands-on approach and having really activity-oriented programs and things.
Yes.
So here you are, with more examples. So that sounds really interesting. Her explanation was that younger people, that's what they want. They want to make a difference and have an impact. So if you can do something like that, sounds like it's quite effective. I'm just going to ask a question. Karen, how's Watertown doing with retention, and what kinds of things are you?
It's about the same. We the retention level is fairly good because we have good activities, that bring the members out and they enjoy it. Now we're going to have one coming up here March 25th, and it's going to be at a local church, and it's an expo, a women's expo, and it's called Women Helping Other Women. And we'll have 3 speakers, and it is free to attend. The speakers, one is going to be speaking about healthcare. It's a doctor. Dr. Beth Olson is coming out. And so she's going to be talking about healthcare. And then we have 2 other speakers. One, oh my gosh, I'm getting confused with the convention now. What's going to be at the convention? The other one is she's new. I don't know exactly what she's going to be talking about, but this is her first speech. And so she's pretty nervous about it, but I think she'll do very well. So that is going to go in the morning. Okay. And then we'll have vendors from different businesses come and, put on a display, like a table, and put a display on of whatever they want to sell or what their business does, so that people in the community kind of know what these businesses do and what they're all about. The Y, unfortunately, we're hoping that we could get somebody from the YMCA that's here, but we weren't able to. And one lady who's lived here for quite a while, she's a teacher. She just recently retired, but she likes to sub. She's putting most of this together herself. She's just one of those that she just loves to organize, and then, we're just taking it from there. And there's a couple girls that'll be doing some food. We'll have some food there, some breakfast, like breakfast and coffee. And I'm hoping that there's a good turnout. I mean, we're going to be distributing 300 flyers. To
when is it going to be, Karen? When is that event going to be?
March 25th.
Okay, so
which is on a Saturday.
Yeah,
which is on a Saturday.
It sounds awesome.
So, so it's interesting, and I think the idea that get them involved right away. If you can get new members involved right away, it seems to perk their interest even more. Yeah. So I know the one girl that I brought in, unfortunately, she won't be able to go, but she's very much interested because she's from Wichita, Kansas, and she put on big, huge conventions. So, especially for, like free interest, when it's, non-for-profit organizations. So she has a lot of good ideas. And I think that, you have to have meetings where you can listen to new ideas and then bring in the members too. I think members should kind of participate in any new ideas that they may have. Bring that up to either the members of the board, or we have invited them to board meetings. Very few people actually listen into our board meetings. I don't know why. I think a lot of them maybe just tired, like, the excuses that she had. I think it's the same thing. But I think if you can, try to make them feel comfortable. Like, I don't mind, we have a new member. I do not mind going out and buying a little flower, putting in, having somebody put it on their porch, welcome to AAUW welcomes you. And, it doesn't bother me. I know a lot of my fellow board members don't agree with me, but so what? It's like, it's coming out of my money. It's coming out of their money.
Go the extra mile, Karen. You know what? I think we're going to close the breakout rooms here. So hopefully you've, all right, we're back together. Awesome. So I know you had a lot more people in your room, Carol. So hopefully everyone had a chance to share a little bit, and hopefully everyone came away with something that they're excited about. So if you don't mind, let's go around and hear some of the things that came out that you were interested in and want to think about. So let's see how we're going to do this.
I think we lost one or two people that didn't make it back to the.
I'm sorry, Carol?
I think we lost one or two people here.
Yeah, a couple of people had to leave, and it is a little after 8, so we don't want to spend too much time. But okay, how about Deb Thiel? What did you hear? You're unmuted, by the way.
Yes, okay. What did I hear? Well, I heard some interesting comments about listening to each other as far as generational needs, not making assumptions, which was good. Also that providing things specifically for groups as far as like the STEM workshops, and that's an attractant, and also for working people, like finance programs and things might be what's needed there. So I heard some people say that. There was a question about, we're talking about also the financial barrier, that especially for younger people, that you're making priority choices at that stage, and it might be just too much money. And is there shape the future use? And the question that was brought forward was, is that going to be something that national continues? And added to that question, how is the process for getting that set up these days with the new change in the software nationally?
Okay, yeah. As far as shape the future mean, Deb?
Yes.
Yeah, it's still the same as last year. There is,
it
a
is.
coupon code that needs to be entered.
So how do you get that coupon code? Because before
I'll send it to you. I'll send it. And if anyone else needs it, just let me know in the chat. Okay, I'll send it out to everybody.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, great. And let's move forward, because I don't want to keep you too much longer. But so if you could keep your comment to like one idea, and I know we're all brimming over, but let's keep it real concise. How about Lynn from Monona, Madison?
I was particularly intrigued with the idea of having some events that cross the border with ages. The other thing is that we've still been doing a fair number of Zoom programs, because we have people that can attend on Zoom that really cannot come to the meetings. And it's kind of a plus minus, because then you don't have fewer people at your meetings, but the word does go out to every group at that time. And what I was learning here is the communication to people was really important. I was impressed with how many times people contact different people, because I'm not that good as far as, we don't do Facebook or anything like that. So that may be my new project.
All right, sounds good. Rebecca from River Falls.
I guess I was really impressed with the whole idea of the continuation of the contacting of the people, because I think we've done a decent job when we have a new member, inviting them, putting a profile up, introducing them to our members, but we kind of stop.
Okay.
And I think we need to remember to keep doing that. And I love the idea of the membership on the screen. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like that from Carol. Yeah. Donna Weedman from Eau Claire.
Hi. I think a couple things I liked was Maggie had said about the community outreach. Maybe we need to start doing some of that again, and pick, like they were doing something with a free clinic and personal kits for women. And also I think another one was this mini event and out and about in your community. Even if you just have a few members go out with you and maybe explore some new place or take a tour or whatever we need to do. And probably could be the new members that we would try to engage in those types of activities.
Cool. All right. Chris Taylor, how about you?
Well, I'm just picking up the mini event and out and about. That's great. I'm going to write that down. That was from in the other group. I like that. The idea of focusing not just on those first year new members and making that the first and second year for sure. I think maybe we can push that a little more in our branch. And again, I like that idea of the pictures and the PowerPoint thing.
Sounds like we're all going home with lots of ideas. That's great.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for your ideas.
Yeah, for sure. Linda Buck.
I was interested in the survey, wondering what the results were. Like, do you get a good response?
We haven't done it yet, so we're getting ready to send it out very soon. But one of the things that we've done is put an incentive. So people who fill out the survey, Linda in membership is funding a $10 gift certificate to a restaurant that's actually right near our meeting place. So we're hoping that will push them over the edge to fill out. I've done it maybe twice myself, and it takes 3 minutes to do. It's really quick and easy.
Okay, this is sneaky, but the last question is, are you planning on rejoining? Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So I thought that was like a new member survey.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But pre-renewal later in the year, I think is what
Later
they're
in the
doing.
year.
Yeah.
I think,
oh, no,
yeah.
March 31st, Carol, we got people up for renewal on May 31st.
Right.
We're
I
getting
know.
this out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting close. Okay. Debbie Roeder.
You know, I think our group, I think Deb Thiel and Christine, I think everybody's covered most everything that
Okay.
I think is just great. I do, and I thank you. Thank you
Great.
for this.
Karen, how about you? Anything you picked up? One thing?
Oh, there's so many. It's just been absolutely wonderful. I love the idea of the mini, the little mini tours, and to, especially helping out in the community, doing more to help out with the community.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's great. We do some, but not.
Get that woman
very
that
much.
likes to organize. Your member that likes to organize. She'll be, I'm sure, really instrumental in getting that going for you.
Oh yeah, that new member. Oh yeah, she'll be good.
Good, awesome.
Yeah.
Mary Messerly, we can't go without hearing anything you learned that was new.
The new idea that I had was that pictures of new members and then putting them in the slideshow, and otherwise everything was just exceptional. Carol, you did a A+ job on this. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And Maggie, anything that you want to share that you think would work in your branch?
Ooh, I like the idea of introducing the new members multiple times, because in the last year, we have had several new members. And honestly, I would look at them and go, is that a member? I don't remember. And so I think, it's like meeting a group of people for the first time. You don't always connect who they are, what their names are, and so forth. And just hearing their names and, so that I could go up and talk to them and not feel like an idiot. And Karen, I see your face there. I want to attend your expo in Watertown. So have somebody send me a where and a when. Otherwise, I'll be driving around Watertown just honking my horn looking for somebody.
March 25th.
Yeah, send me your email. I'll send you all the.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
I think I gave everyone. Linda, did you want to share?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. There's a couple things that I think are important.
All right.
Number one, change working with our new member and our mentor, not just the first year. I said this earlier, year and two. I like the idea of pictures, but I have a hard time getting pictures of people. Does anybody know a way how you get the pictures? Because if they don't come to a meeting, you don't get a picture.
Carol, no.
Help me, Carol.
We have them send us a picture. I'll take it. I mean,
do they?
Good idea.
I ask them to find, get a picture, have their significant other or daughter or whoever, neighbor, come over and just take a picture and send it to me. I haven't had a problem getting pictures.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
That to me solves that problem.
That idea alone was worth the meeting.
Then that they approve of the picture. You don't feel like you took kind of a look very good.
Yeah, good idea.
Have you joined with any other branch to share some of your Zoom programs?
We really don't have anybody close.
Because we Zoomed a couple of programs with Winona Madison this year. And we had maybe more members on that, that shared Zoom than we've had on our own. So then maybe your branch only has to come up with 2 programs and the other branch can come up with 2 programs, and now you got 4 months covered.
Well, our bunch is kind of paranoid about having to be included in others, and that was a fate we are going to face, and they don't really. And they just
worth
aren't.
a try, though. I think
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a great idea. Collaboration with some of the smaller branches, especially if your crew was so excited and many of them joined the holiday event.
Yeah.
You know, at least they're open to that. So if it was the right kind of thing, more social.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
They just don't want to go out.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't have to go out. They can do it on Zoom, and maybe find another branch that maybe, since they like book discussion, maybe do a joint book discussion Zoom. And
what we were thinking is we have a lot of members crossed over from the League of Women Voters.
Yeah.
So we were thinking maybe that might be a possibility for us.
Yes.
But around us, we really sorry. We're just kind of basically dead in the water.
How about Barbara from La Crosse? I know your branch is a little different. It's larger and more active. What do you do for new members?
Well, first, I want to say, Lynn, I'm so impressed with all you're doing. I kind of chuckled, but it was just like an amazement, you know. There are a lot of tasks there. And Carol, your idea, the survey and asking new members their likes and I get together and I talk with them. I do send emails and I meet with them and I give them, you know, information and things like that. And I usually meet them at the meeting and try to introduce them to other people. But I'm a relatively new member myself, and I usually try to move them off to somebody else that know more of the members, and that works. I also started a membership committee, which has been very, very helpful. I've got a wonderful group, and I'm looking forward to sharing some of this information with them. I almost wish that, well, I do wish that some of them had joined this meeting to hear all of the interesting things that have been brought up, because it's very, very helpful.
You know what? If you want me to send links to them for the Wednesday morning,
I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
just let me know
I'll send them I'll send them information and then send you the emails.
Great. Okay.
Wonderful, Carol. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah, we've got a good group, and I'm working with them because I do have some medical eye issues that came up since the year that, you know, I've only been membership chair for a year, so I'm learning.
Yes. Well, and you know what? And I like to say that excuse me, I don't know what's going on. That membership is really everyone. You're all part of the membership committee, every member. So, you know, it's good to have more than one and to let them know that they're part of the deal. So it sounds great.
Carol, Carol, I just got an email from Karen. She said she can't get in.
Karen. Oh, you know what? I got her in. She's in. That's why I left this session.
Oh, okay.
So
All
she's
right.
in. She's good.
All right, good.
Okay. So how many members are in your branch in La Crosse, Barb?
You know, I don't even know for sure.
Okay.
I know it's 80, I think.
Oh, okay.
Something, but I don't know the exact number. I'll find out from our treasurer. She usually has more to do with that.
That's okay.
And your treasurer, well, I'm not sure, but you have Megan Preston in your branch, correct?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes. And Megan Preston's mother they grew up in Janesville, where our branch is. And Megan's mother manages the building where we meet.
Oh, really?
Kind of Megan's mother telling her she should join AAUW in La Crosse. Kind of came from our branch. But
it's a small world.
So, do you have other young members that are like Megan's age, or how is Megan managing friendships in the group? Does she just...
Megan's done very well. Everyone knows Megan. She's done some wonderful presentations, and she connects really well with everybody. She became a member before I did. But thanks for sharing that, because that's interesting to know. I didn't realize there was that connection. We do have another new member that just came in, and she's a third generation member.
Oh, nice.
That was pretty sweet.
Legacy. Has Megan brought other members in her age group into your branch? Do you know?
Not since I took over membership, I know. But it's very difficult to get the younger members for the same reasons all of you have mentioned. Just busyness. I didn't join until after I retired.
Right. And that's really the prime spot for recruitment. Even and National recognizes this too. That it's right after retirement is when you get people to join before they have joined everything else.
Yes. But one of the ways I did join though is that there was a movie at our main library on equal pay, and that's always been an interest of mine. I'd been a member of NOW, and so I went to the presentation, and somebody sat next to me that knew me and said, "Hey, I think there's a group that you'd be interested in," which of course was AAUW, who had presented the movie. I became a member very quickly.
Yeah, that personal invitation is really, really the key, I think. And that's one of the things this is getting into recruiting. Here we go. And we're going to talk about recruiting this summer, but the personal invitation I think is really critical. And I think keeping that connection too, if branches can keep their recruiters working to keep the person they recruited active, inviting them, bringing them along, I think that helps a lot.
You're right. Because when I became a member, there was somebody that met me on the door, took me to other people and met other people. And I was so impressed by everybody that was in that group. So I've been very aware of that and trying to do my best to introduce them.
Yeah. We can I talk to Carol?
You can talk all you'd like, Carol.
I want to talk about the younger generation. We at West Suburban have been really struggling with that too. We've had a number of younger women coming through the branch, and they'll stay for a year or two. Very often they take a leadership position. We think they're really engaged, and then something happens and they're gone. Sometimes they move, sometimes they just lose interest or don't go forward with it. So it's really hard. My daughter is a member, and she came in. She insisted, in fact, to be perfectly honest, I kind of discouraged her. I said, "Look around the room, but she really believes in the mission, and so she joined. She's done a ton of recruiting, but I know she's getting frustrated because she recruits and people are gone, and so it's been frustrating for her. I think she's kind of backing away from that a little bit, but she's definitely committed and does a great job for our branch. So I understand it's a challenge.
I think it has to be a special young person, like maybe a Megan Preston, someone who really is very comfortable with interacting and socializing with people, not just the people that look and are at their age and their interests, but can
absolutely
blend with all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what, I'm sorry, Barb,
I just want to thank Carol for that questionnaire idea. Was such a good one. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Yes, I would like that.
Yeah, I'll share that with everyone.
I'm on the program giving the information, but I'm taking notes from others.
Oh yes, yeah.
I'm stealing others' ideas.
Okay, so we're going to do a 60-minute announcement here, and then we're going to go back in. So I hope everyone's got something that they would like to share, because we'll go around and listen. The other group had a much larger number, so I'm sure they'll have lots of things to say. But thank you, everybody. All right, so Kathy and Mary, just FYI, you are muted. But how about if we go around and give everyone a chance to tell us what excited them today, what they're going to take back to their branch, or what their branch is doing that they think has been very successful for them. So how about if we start with Barb Fisher?
Thank you. So I'm a relatively new member, and only been in here for less than a year as far as membership chair. So I heard a lot of good ideas. One in particular would be from Carol about the questionnaire, the photos, things like that. You had a lot of great ideas that I wrote down, and we'll take back to a committee that I formed. And I found that to be very, very helpful because we have so many members that we need to reach out to, and it's difficult to do it alone.
Cool. Okay. Thank you. I'm just looking at my list, making sure. Oh, Margaret from Racine.
Yes. Well, I loved the photos idea, and what did you call it? The information, you do an interview and then you put that in your newsletter along with the photo, I think.
I write an article using the answers that they gave us.
Okay, and you have specific questions.
Yes, we have like 10 questions on the interview.
Oh gosh, can you give me an example or two?
Some of them are just the things like, where did you graduate? What did you major in? What was your job? But then we ask things like, tell us about your family, any favorite travels, what types of books do you like to read, and what are you currently reading, or what's been your favorite? And then tell us something that would surprise us about you.
Do you get any reluctance to answer those slightly more personal questions?
No, actually, we get the opposite, where people will tell us a whole bunch of stuff and then afterwards go, maybe I told you too much.
Oh, good one. That's a great idea.
And I guess I did. I could send that to you, Carol, if your questions, if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. So I'll share that with everyone. I will share the survey.
Yes.
Yeah, the survey that West Suburban is doing, we'll share that with you too. So yeah, good stuff. How about Karen Ryder from Oshkosh?
I've got a lot of great ideas. There's going to be, I think, at least 3 of us that have signed up for these meetings from from Oshkosh. So I'm looking forward to getting together with my other members and cohort. I was going to say that, but I thought, well, that kind of sounds like we're in a conspiracy. I think we are.
Okay.
Yes, but a lot of really good ideas. And one of the things I'm definitely going to talk to my other cohorts about is doing something with the league.
Okay. Very cool. Belinda.
Well, I'll just piggyback on that. What we do in the North Woods is we share a lot of leadership across many organizations. And so we rather formally work with the League of Women Voters. And we have 2 programs a year in which AAUW leads one joint meeting with a program, and another meeting in which the League has a program that we make sure all AAUW members are invited to. And so many of us are in both groups. Recruitment works, you go where your friends are. So once you're in AAUW, you migrate to the League, or just the opposite. We always say, oh, you really love AAUW. Actually, our group. So, but I evermore want to pursue ideas like the Working Women's Interest Group. That sounded good to me.
Good. Very good. All right. Judy from Sheboygan.
Same as what Karen said, I think there were some excellent ideas. The 2 that stood out to me was to do member profiles in the newsletter. I think with new members particularly, we recently had a gentleman, a husband of one of our members join. He's 90 years old. And very interesting, very interesting individual. He'd be a perfect person to do that with. And another member who's actually younger. She is in her 40s. On the county board as a supervisor and homeschools her kids and has some unique things about her. I think that would work really good, and then people would get a chance to know her. The other thing I liked was DEI initiative that I forget which, I think it was the Monona Madison group did, where they try to get people out of their comfort zones of who they sit with at meetings. That's something that I've noticed within our branch and really thought that we should do something about, because inclusiveness is more than just people of different color or religion or that kind of thing. It's also within the branch. And I've noticed that, and the idea of randomly selecting people to sit with other people, I think is a great idea. So those were the two things that stood out to me from our breakout
Nice.
group.
Wow, I like that idea personally. That's great. Thank you. Cleo from Monona Madison.
Well, first of all, this is going to, beginning in July, I am going to be a membership person. This will be my first time doing that. We do have a questionnaire, but I would like to develop it more. I'm looking forward to seeing what Carol has on hers, because I've always admired the photos and the descriptions in their Janesville newsletter. Okay, another thing I'm thinking about, a few years back, we extended program from being just 2 people to being a whole committee of about 6 people, and that worked so much better. And I would really like to do that with the membership, of having people who will contact, who will reach out and say, hey, do you want to do this? And I think we could find, 3 or 4 others who would do that. And yes, we have done this mix them up, where people come in. This was before the pandemic, I will add, where we had like 8 tables, and each table had a number. When people came in, they just drew a number and they sat there. And after the pandemic, for a while there, we were doing just Zoom meetings. Then we started doing some hybrids, and 18, 20 people showed up, were just so happy just to talk to their friends who hadn't. So we haven't restarted it. I would like to in time, but we are still doing hybrid meetings because we have some members who do not attend live. And then, of course, we switched to the place where we meet at, because the other place kicked us out because they no longer do evening meetings. And that made some people more comfortable, coming to a new place.
Okay, thank you, Cleo. Mary Messerly, West Suburban.
I'd like to thank the Carols and the Kathy for an outstanding, just an incredible, good information and great opportunity. I really love, Carol, Salinas, your idea of the pictures. And you had commented, how do you get the pictures? You asked them to submit a picture. So it's a picture in whatever environment and whatever vibe they want to present. I think that is so clever and it's so fun. So thank you very much for suggesting that.
Thank you.
Okay, Lynn from Oshkosh. What are you going to take back?
I think we're going to try and see if we can get more people involved. One of our problems is we don't have a membership person, and we also lost our ability to have access to the website, the newsletter, and the Facebook page. So I'm afraid a lot of us have had to do some learning with Bonnie to access these assets. I think they're very good assets, and I think they really would help. But we're on a learning curve at the moment. But I do believe that connecting with the League of Women Voters is one of our best options.
Would be helpful. Awesome. Okay. Well, it sounds like you've got a team there, Karen, and you said there's another person coming. So
yeah, Julie's going to be there on the 22nd.
All right. Yeah. So good, strong crew. And then I'm just going to ask Kathy and/or Carol, did you each have anything you wanted to share? Something new that you found, or are you good?
I think we're good. I
want West Suburban's new member survey. We've done a survey in the past at the end of the year.
Sure.
But I think the one we send to our regular and longtime members, I think tweaking it to ask some of those questions specific to the new members is a good idea.
Okay, very good. Anything else from anybody for the good of the group?
Yes, I would like to compliment Carol for putting this together, because I think she did an excellent job. She gave me a lot of good ideas, and I think she did it for all of us.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate that you're turning out for these too, because, you just never know if anyone's going to interested. So I really appreciate all of you. Trust me. Okay,
Cheryl,
yes.
You have a history of very productive Zoom meetings. So if you attended the two last year, and they were very productive, so then people are going to join again.
Great, that's good to hear. That's wonderful. So, and we're planning some more. So, I just want to share just a couple other things with you, and then I'm going to let you go back to your Saturdays. 2023, I discovered from some surveys that were done with you that most of the recruitment events are held in later summer and or early fall, even your first September meeting. So we're going to talk about recruitment probably in July and cover some of the things that I have listed there. So you can look for invitations coming up soon. I may have some dates firmed up at state convention time, so I'll be mentioning those at that point as well. So anything else? Otherwise, I'm done. My voice is going.
Thank you.